My name's Andy Ferg. I live in regional Victoria, which I love. I've done a lot. I've been a filmmaker and an artist and a scallywag. I meet a lot of people, especially when I write about. You know, I travel everywhere. It's a great area around here. But people tell me these amazing stories. I think, wow, you know, look, I'm a compulsive sticky beak. So, you know, if anyone starts telling me something, I'm like, do tell. And these are people that haven't shared their story before or don't feel they're special, but I do. I think they're really special. And look, I really appreciate them sharing their story. It's like they're giving me a gift. So yeah, here they are, pretty much.
So I was born in 1949 and went to school when I was 5 at the Toowoomba State School. My father was electrocuted at Mount Beauty. He was retrained as a linesman with the SCC, and he was up a pole this day on the 12th of February 1951, lunchtime, 12 o'clock, and he was electrocuted, which left her as a single parent. And well, it was very different circumstances for women in those days because it was all geared, society was geared to men. It meant that our mother was left on limited circumstances to keep us, but she did a very good job.
Wanted to join the police force, where did they come from?
I've got no idea about that. It was when I was 6, and I used to write every year after that as I got a bit older to see if I was studying the right things to be able to join. My recollection is that I applied for a job in the Forensic Science Laboratory as a document examiner. That's the question examination of, the scientific examination of question documents.
Oh, yeah.
And I was the only woman that completed that course.
And then from there, because you've got, I see a lot of medals.
Yeah, well, I earned them.
Yeah, how?
Well, policing. You know, I used to do night shift in charge of a car because there weren't enough sergeants. I climbed over a fence to go looking for a missing person. And I was on my hands and knees on the back veranda of this house, and there was a wolf at the door, and here I looked up and there's this Great Dane looking at me. So I exited fairly quickly. Yeah. And then another thing, I was on night shift. We had some interesting people in charge of us on night shift. Anyhow, we're on the banks of the Yarra and there'd been a call out that there's a boat to become unmoored, and we tried to hook it in, but I looked back and here I see this thing shining on the bank, and it was a man's head, his bald head, and all his clothes were packed up beside him, and newspaper. I can't remember particularly how soon before that he'd been a bank manager, you know? His circumstances had gone downhill. And in those days you arrested people for being a vagrant, really. A person with no means of support, no visible means of support.
Did it affect your relationships or?
I've got no idea because there weren't many. Well, one of the things that did affect it was that women weren't allowed to be married. If they were going to venture down the marriage line, they had to ask permission of the Chief Commissioner. And I said, well, I don't have to ask my mother that, so I won't be asking the Chief Commissioner. If things change, I'll get back to you. So I did have a relationship with somebody that meant something to me, but the idea of giving up my job was one element of just uncertainty, you know what I mean? In those early days that we were together a couple of years, and he was really nice and I loved him and all the rest of it. To give up a job like that, well, I was really happy, I'd wanted it for years, blah, blah, blah. I could do it, I think I could do it really quite well. When you've come up, in my opinion, from a life where you've got a single parent who was very good. Our mother was really very good, very responsible, a smart woman, you know, and you're thinking that you could end up there yourself. You don't want it, you know? Like I had my independence. I'd always had my independence. We were encouraged to be independent, use your brain, you know.